Hi there, it's Maggie for Maggie's Mindful Moments. It's good to see you. It's been a while. Today I wanted to just talk about one of the most fundamental teachings of Buddhism, and that is what really causes our suffering. I don't know that before I even started studying or reading about some of these concepts that I would ever even consider asking myself what really the answer to that question was. I don't know if I ever would have explored it at all, right? But Buddha did, that was sort of what he really wanted to understand was what is it that keeps us from being able to notice that a lot of times we cause our own suffering. And in one way, it's through what was called obscurations or veils or coverings over reality. So it's this idea between being able to notice when you get hooked by something or someone or a certain situation, and instead of reacting, being able to sort of shove a little mindful gap into that space, and in that mindful gap, being able to gain insight and perspective and consciousness, right? So being able to notice the neurotic mind by using the wisdom mind. And that's really the essential teaching. So how do we do that? Well, so take an example from your own life. I could from mine, where my teenage son says something to me and I have a habitual response that says, geez, how rude, or, and then I could even allow that anger to build, not even catching myself or noticing that that's what's happening. And that ember there then becomes sort of a spark and a little bit of a flame. And I start thinking in my head, this big storyline about how he's ungrateful and he doesn't appreciate me and how dare he and blah, 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 blah. And before you know it, in my head, I've created this big, big issue. When in fact, perhaps, if I had been able to notice it when it was just a little ember and put in a little pause or a mindful gap, inserted that little wisdom space, I might have had a little perspective that might have said, maybe he just didn't do as well on that test he studied so hard for, or maybe he's having trouble with a friend, or maybe he just didn't sleep last night, right? And it has nothing to do with me. So see if you can practice today and any day, right? Catching yourself at the very beginning stage would be optimal, right? But very few of us can or do catch ourselves before we really get hooked. But that's okay. So see if you can catch yourself after you've gotten hooked and before it becomes a bonfire, right? And even if the storyline's out of control and it has become a bonfire, you can still try to catch yourself and put a little mindful gap in there and slow things down and gain some perspective inside of the situation. It's a practice. All of the traditions, all of the Buddhist teachings are practices. And so if today you missed it, so what? Try again. Just keep trying. It's a practice. It's a great little game to play with yourself, to train yourself into becoming more aware over and over again. So that's all I have today. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. Take care. Namaste.